Testing. दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे, 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 दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे। रात और सुबह शाम बोलो माँ का नाम, रात और सुबह शाम बोलो माँ का नाम, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे। हे दाता दानी ओ महारानी, चरणों की तेरी पूजा करो। हे दाता दानी ओ महारानी, चरणों की तेरी पूजा करो। तुम आज इतने जो दे रहे हो, तुम आज इतना जो दे रहे हो, तुमको अनंतम का नाम, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे। रात और सुबह शाम बोलो माँ का नाम, रात और सुबह शाम बोलो माँ का नाम, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे। सुख चैन यश बल देने वाले माँ, युग युग में तेरी हो आरती। सुख चैन यश बल देने वाली माँ, युग युग में तेरी हो आरती। नारायणी दुर्गा लक्ष्मी माँ, नारायणी दुर्गा लक्ष्मी माँ, तुमको अनंतम का नाम, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे। रात और सुबह शाम बोलो माँ का नाम, रात और सुबह शाम बोलो माँ का नाम, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे, दुर्गे नाम का सुमिरन करो रे बंदे। रूप कन्या का अपना बनाया, माँ ने भक्तों को दर्श दिखाया। रूप कन्या का अपना बनाया, माँ ने भक्तों का दर्श दिखाया। तन पे चुनरी है लाल लाल बिंदिया का माँ, तन पे चुनरी है लाल हाथों में मेहंदी रचाया, माँ ने भक्तों को दर्श दिखाया, रूप कन्या का अपना बनाया, माँ ने भक्तों को दर्श दिखाया। नैने काजल सजे पाव पायल बजे, नैने काजल सजे पाव पायल बजे, चूड़ियों की कनक मन को पाया, माँ ने भक्तों को दर्श दिखाया, रूप कन्या का अपना बनाया, माँ ने भक्तों को दर्श दिखाया। दो कमल जैसे नैन बड़ी मिट्टी है बहन, दो कमल जैसे नैन बड़ी मिट्टी है बहन, किस सुंदर में अपना बनाया, माँ ने भक्तों को दर्श दिखाया, रूप कन्या का अपना बनाया, माँ ने भक्तों को दर्श दिखाया। गले माला सजे काल बाला सजे, गले माला सजे काल बाला सजे, नाथ के शोभनक ने बढ़ाया, माँ ने भक्तों को दर्श दिखाया, रूप कन्या का अपना बनाया, माँ ने भक्तों को दर्श दिखाया, रूप कन्या का अपना बनाया, माँ ने भक्तों को दर्श दिखाया।
Testing for song check. Prem se bolo Shri Durga Devi Mata ki. Cordial welcome to each and every one of you here this evening, as we do our one night in dedication to the Divine Shakti, the Divine Mother. I ask you all to stand as we join together in Arati. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Durga Rupena Sanstitam Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Devi Arti. अरे सुनो मेरे देवी पर्वतवासिनी, तेरा पारन पाया, तेरा पारन पाया।
सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वतवासिनी, तेरा पारन पाया, तेरा पारन पाया।
पान सुपारी ध्वजा नारियल,
पान सुपारी ध्वजा नारियल,
पान सुपारी ध्वजा नारियल,
पान सुपारी ध्वजा नारियल।
ले तेरे भीत चराया, सुनो मेरे देवी,
सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वतवासिनी, तेरा पारन पाया, तेरा पारन पाया।
सुवाचोल तेरे अंग विराजे,
सुवाचोल तेरे अंग विराजे,
सुवाचोल तेरे अंग विराजे,
सुवाचोल तेरे अंग विराजे।
केशर तिलक लगाया,
सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वतवासिनी, तेरा पारन पाया, तेरा पारन पाया। ब्रह्मा वेद परे तेरे द्वारे,
ब्रह्मा वेद परे तेरे द्वारे,
ब्रह्मा वेद परे तेरे द्वारे,
शंकर ध्यान लगाया, सुनो मेरे देवी,
सुनो मेरी देवी, पर्वत वासनी तेरा पार न पाया, तेरा पार न पाया।
नंगे पग तेरे आगे आया,
नंगे पग तेरे आगे आया,
नंगे पग तेरे आगे आया,
नंगे पग तेरे आगे आया।
सोने का छत्र चराया,
सुनो मेरी देवी, सुनो मेरी देवी, पर्वत वासनी तेरा पार न पाया, तेरा पार न पाया।
ऊंची ऊंची पर्वत बनय शिवाला,
ऊंची ऊंची पर्वत बनय शिवाला,
ऊंची ऊंची पर्वत बनय शिवाला,
ऊंची ऊंची पर्वत बनय शिवाला।
नीशे सहर बसाया,
सुनो मेरी देवी, पर्वत वासनी तेरा पार न पाया, तेरा पार न पाया।
कलियुग द्वापर त्रेता मध्ये,
कलियुग द्वापर त्रेता मध्ये,
कलियुग द्वापर त्रेता मध्ये,
कलियुग द्वापर त्रेता मध्ये।
कलियुग राजसवाया,
सुनो मेरी देवी, सुनो मेरी देवी, पर्वत वासनी तेरा पार न पाया, तेरा पार न पाया।
धूप दीप नहीं फेर आरती,
धूप दीप नैवेद्य आरती,
धूप दीप नहीं फेर आरती,
धूप दीप नैवेद्य आरती।
मोहन भोग लगाया,
सुनो मेरी देवी, सुनो मेरी देवी, पर्वत वासनी तेरा पार न पाया, तेरा पार न पाया।
धानु भगत में या तेरे गुण गावे,
दानु भगत मैया तेरे गुण गावे,
धानु भगत में या तेरे गुण गावे,
दानु भगत मैया तेरे गुण गावे।
मन वांछित फल पाया,
सुनो मेरी देवी, सुनो मेरी देवी, पर्वत वासनी तेरा पार न पाया,
तेरा पार न पाया, तेरा पार न पाया, तेरा पार न पाया। आज शक्ति दुर्गा देवी माता की, सत्य सनातन धर्म की। आसन लीजिए, टेक योर सीट्स। प्रेम से बोलो श्री आदि शक्ति दुर्गा देवी माता की। My dear friends, again at the very outset, a most cordial welcome to each and every one of you. In this most auspicious time of the Shri Navratri period. Pandit Gyan, I must say a special welcome once more. After being away for a while, it's happy that you could join with us in devotion once more. And all you individuals who have come from far and wide, God blessings to you. The voice is not to the best tonight, but we'll try our best. Once commitment is made, we must try to fulfill them, unless otherwise. So tonight, my dear friends, we are going to engage ourselves in a night of devotion to the Divine Mother. Before we begin, we have invocation mantras. I ask you to sit upright, put your hands together, close eyes, and bow heads. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Guru Charanamakkalabhyo Namo Namah. Aim Aim Saraswatyai Namo Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarva Artha Sadike Sharani Trayambike Gauri Narayani Namastute. Om Jayatvam Devi Chamunde Jai Bhutaraharani Jai Sarvagate Devi Kalratri Namastute. Om Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi Bhukti Mukti Pradayani Mantramurti Sada Devi Mahalakshmi Namastute. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Saraswati Rupe Nasanstitam Namastasyai 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 Namo Namah. Asato ma sadagamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorama amritam gamaye. My dear friends, tonight we glorify the Divine Shakti, Divine Mother, a beautiful bhajan. I sing this bhajan because everybody can join and we'll all help together. माँ तेरी ममता कितनी प्यारी, कितना प्यारे जगाती है, कितना प्यारे जगाती है।
माँ तेरी ममता कितनी प्यारी, कितना प्यार जगाती है, कितना प्यार जगाती है।
श्वास श्वास की रक्षा करती,
श्वास श्वास की रक्षा करती, पग पग प्राण बजाती है, कितना प्यार जगाती है। माँ तेरी ममता कितनी प्यारी, कितना प्यार जगाती है, कितना प्यार जगाती है।
तू ऋषियों की रिद्धि सिद्धि, तू ब्रह्मा की भक्ति माँ,
तू विष्णु की माया देवी, तू शंकर की शक्ति माँ,
तू ऋषियों की रिद्धि सिद्धि, तू ब्रह्मा की भक्ति माँ,
तू विष्णु की माया देवी, कितना प्यार जगाती है, कितना प्यार जगाती है।
तू काली महाकाली दुर्गा, तू ही भारत वाणी माँ।
तू पुराण गाथा शारदा, तू वेदों की वाणी है।
तू काली महाकाली दुर्गा, तू ही भारत वाणी माँ।
तू पुराण गाथा शारदा, तू वेदों की वाणी है। तू बालक को गोद में लेकर जीवन गीत सुनाती है।
कितना प्यार जगाती है,
माँ तेरी ममता कितनी प्यारी, कितना प्यार जगाती है, कितना प्यार जगाती है।
कितना प्यार जगाती है, कितना प्यार जगाती है। आज शक्ति दुर्गा देवी माता की। My dear friends, briefly, we shall glorify the Divine Father, Bhagwan Shankar. Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya.
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 Om Namah Shivaya, bolo Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Namah Shivaya.
Bhavaye Namaha, Om Haraye Namaha.
Bhavaye Namaha, Om Baraye Namaha.
Shivaye Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya.
Shivaye Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya.
Shiva 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 Namah Shivaya.
Jaya Shiva Hara Shiva Namah Shivaya.
Jaya Shiva Hare Shiva Namah Shivaya.
Hara Shiva Jaya Shiva Namah Shivaya.
Hare Shiva Jaya Shiva Namah Shivaya.
Bhavaye Namaha, Om Haraye Namaha.
Bhavaye Namaha, Om Baraye Namaha.
Shivaye Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya.
Shivaye Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Hare bolo Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Hare bolo Om Namah Shivaya.
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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah.
Shivaya. प्रेम से बोलो श्री उमापति महादेव की। So my dear friends, Navratri is 9 nights of devotion to the Divine Mother. Namely, in this time of Navratri, Adi Shakti Durga Devi is worshipped. And you have been hearing the names Shailaputri, Chandraganta, Kushmanda, Mahagauri, Mahakali, and all the 9 forms of the Divine Mother. Years gone by, we have explained all these forms, what they represent, what is the pictorial depiction of the Divine Shakti, what she represents, why she rides on a bull, why she have 12 hands, why she have 8 hands. And throughout Trinidad, individuals are winning the grace of this Divine Shakti, this Divine Mother, Adi Shakti Durga. When I first started performing and reading from the scriptures, I started off by saying, in the nine nights of devotion to Shakti or Devi Ma, the first 3 nights is dedicated to Durga Ma. And simply, when we worship Durga Devi, she removes all the enemies from our lives. And I keep saying over the many years, not only the enemies on the outsides need removing, but more so in this time of Navratri, the enemies on the inside of the hate and the anger and the jealousy and the greed. Having all these weapons in her hand, this is what she symbolizes. So the 3 first days, we advise people to focus on Durga Devi. And the second sets of 3 days is only when the negativity from us is removed, is only then the light will be lit. The light of love, the light of appreciation, the light of togetherness, the light of oneness. And she represents the divine goddess, Lakshmi. On the last 3 days, I advise people to worship the divine goddess Saraswati. Why? Because only when the internal and external enemies are destroyed and the light of love and appreciation begin to glow within us, it's only then we can attain Saraswati, the sweetness of divinity in the form of Saraswati Ma, spiritual wisdom. And during the course of these years, people say that Pandit Gosain is advising people to do the wrong thing. Because Navratri is 9 nights of devotion to the goddess Durga. But I knew that. And I knew that fully well, that in this period, why should I tell people to worship Durga for 3 days, Lakshmi for 3 days, and Saraswati for the last 3 days? And why not tell them to worship Skanda Mata, and Durga Mata, and Kalratri Ma? Why? You see, my dear friends, in one development of spiritual life, there are stages. If you cannot understand that in order to win the grace of Shailaputri, whatever she represents, if you want to win the grace of Kalima, whatever she represents, and you cannot remove this simple 3 process of removing the negativities from within and allowing that light of love to develop ourselves and attain that spirituality, then, my dear friends, we could never attain Kali. We could never attain Chandraganta. So I know fully well, you see, when I was a little child, my parents didn't send me to university right away. They sent me to elementary school. And they sent me to Arangwes Hindu School. And from Arangwes Hindu School, in those days, I went to junior secondary school, a different stage. And after junior secondary school, I went into exile to the United States in college and university. So you see the stages. And the same way that I learned, I decided that if I have to teach and preach, I must go through that process with everybody. So it's not that I didn't know that Durga is worshipped for Navratri, but I wanted to impress in the minds of my bhaktas, my followers and devotees, that simplicity comes first. My brother and Didi from United States, Lal and his wife is here. I want to thank them. When I started in Arangwes Savannah, the first service, they were there. Arangwes Park Celebration Committee. I started after a few years of service, and they were there. Happy to see you, Bhaiya and Didi. May the blessings of the Almighty be with you. So understand this, my dear friends. So it's not that Pandit Gosain was educated wrongly. I believe there's a process. And my dear friends, I used to take on people what they say. But I don't take on people anymore. Because there's a saying, if you take on people, then you bark like a dog. And I don't want to be barking, my dear friends. So understand, nothing is wrong. And I'm hearing on the radio station that some people are still saying, Durga for the first 3 days, Lakshmi for the second set of 3 days. Haven't you be hearing this? But understand why I said that. Because we must start somewhere. Now, my dear friends, having this understanding of the Divine Mother, we must also understand during the Ganesh Utsav period, I mentioned that if you could reach a certain position in your devotion, whereby you could come to the understanding that this very same Ganesh we worship for Ganesh Utsav is none other than Durga Devi or Hanuman Baba. And you could look at Ganesh and see Hanuman, and you could look at Devi Ma and see Ganesh. Then you have poised yourself in a special place in the realm of devotion. This is why our scriptures, and in Hinduism, if you look on the altar of Hinduism, you will see there are many different pityas. Many different pityas. And it is not, my dear friends, that we have 100 gods. I often tell you, in Hinduism, there is one God. And there is one God only. God is Param Purush. He is that Almighty, the substratum of the world. And that Lord can be anything for you and anything for me. Whatever I will that Lord to be, He will be. And observe, I'm saying He will be. Then I'm leaving the she out. But if I leave the he and I leave it without explaining, you see, when we speak, we usually speak in the male gender. So when we say he, we also mean she or her. And if we say that God is he and he alone, meaning male, then we are limiting God. And who are you and I to limit God? We have the Ganesh Puran. We have the Devi Bhagavad. We had Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran. We had the Garud Puran. And we have all these scriptures. And all these scriptures teaches us differently about the different identity of God. So my dear friend, understanding is very important. When I say to you, Om Sri Ganesh Aye Namah, I am not saying that I bow to the Lord Ganesh. I bow to God as Ganesh. As is different to THE. And sometimes you must learn to understand little English, not plenty. As is different to THE. I bow to the Lord as Ganesh, the embodiment of wisdom. I bow to the Lord, the very same one God, as Hanuman, as Surya Devata. Different purpose, different characteristics, different name, only for the purpose of identification. And nowhere in our scriptures is it stated that in this period we must read from the Durga Saptashati. In fact, I have been skimming the radio station and TV station, and I'm not hearing anybody reading the Durga Saptashati. People are reading from the Durga Bhagavad, Devi Bhagavad, and different scriptures. And again, nothing is wrong from reading from different scriptures to emphasize the episode or the teachings of God. And I'm saying that to you because tonight I am on a different trend. And it's not I don't have Devi Bhagavad. I have read from it many times. But my daughter asked me, what am I reading from today? And I said, well, I'm going to read from the Ramayana. And for many reasons, I want to read this Katha today. Because I think this Katha from the Ramayana, it emphasizes the beauty of this Katha, the appearance of Shakti, the divine goddess, in a special form. And at the same time, when I summarize this Katha, I will explain to you, because of that manifestation of that Shakti in that special form, Bhagwan had to pray to Durga Devi to win his grace, to destroy a certain personality in our scriptures. And my dear friends, you will see at the end how I summarize this Katha. Reading from the scriptures is not an easy thing. To put in across points for the understanding of individuals, sometimes we have to crush them all together. Well, tonight, my dear friends, I'll present to you a beautiful Katha. In the Ramayana, in Doha and Chaupai forms. Our Katha begins like this. Mind you, if you listen to this Katha tonight, and like many good listeners, when they go home, they tend to look through the Ramayana to find this Katha. If you have the ordinary Ram Charitra Manas at home, you will not find this Katha. So don't blame me. This Katha is taken from the Tulsi Krit Ramayana. It's a special episode of the Ram Charitra Manas. Our Katha begins at this point, where this beautiful Katha from Balkand of the Sri Tulsi Krit Ramayana. Put your hands together. साप अग्निक करिया करी मन महु कीन विचार ओ रामा दंड ऋषि से लीन नहीं रोष ये हुलंग ये यसुआ रसिया Pati Ramachandra ki Jai Sharanam. Chopai. Dhoot Charapat Ye Rishi Ashrama Nirki Bisari Gopunamu Yatama Jai Ram Shri Ram Dinasan sababu chahi suni hala karhu koshalalam keshavu java Jaya Ram Shri Rama Now Goswami Tulsidas is telling us in the first Doha, he says the mighty and powerful Ravana, when he came into being, he started to provoke. He started to terrorize the masses. And my dear friends, there weren't a place that Ravana did not visit just to bring distress to people. Prior to this episode, where Ravana was humiliated, after being humiliated, he went back to his palace, lie on his royal bed as if nothing happened. For nothing bothered Ravana. He would insult, he would criticize, he would humiliate male, female, everybody in sight. No courtesy at all. And then he would rest comfortable as though nothing happened. There are many people like that. They could behave the worst, and then they will sit down and eat a proper meal like nothing happened. So he woke up the next morning, and having woken, the first thing that comes to his mind, wait a minute. All the sant, all the Mahatmas, all the saints and sages, I am not seeing them anywhere. But when Ravan governed, the saints and sages, they could not perform their huti. They could not perform the jap, the meditation. And nobody wanted to stay there. Nobody wanted to stay close to his vicinity. So they all left him and they went way off where they could not be found. So this morning, it struck him in his mind that, wait a minute, where are these Mahatmas? Where are these Brahman? Where are these saints? Where are these sages? Where are they hiding from me? Why are they hiding? And he decided upon himself, the reason why they are hiding is because they don't want to pay taxes to me. And they should not be spared. Therefore, Chara Duta Rishyo Ashrama Beji. He summoned 4 of his messengers. And when these messengers came before Ravana, he said, listen to me. The saints and sages, they went into hiding. And I want you to go look for them. And when you find them, explain to them that they could run, but they cannot hide. They could run, but they cannot hide. And therefore, pay their dues. Even though they have left his domain, he's asking to pay their fair share of taxes. Now, I don't want this Katha to be political, so I ain't talking about no house tax and no property tax. But it is important that every government of the day should have some means to collect taxes from its citizens. All part of the world, this happened. And why does it happen? This is how the country governs, especially when that country has no natural resources. How will the country survive? So Ravana is saying, even though he had it all, he feels for nothing, but just to bring tyranny, fright, and fear in the saint and sage's mind, he sent these messengers to confront them. Now, Tulsi is telling us that these 4 messengers, they mounted horses and they went in the wilderness. Traveling for days, they found these Mahatmas. These saints and sages, I must tell you how they live. They lived in the forest and they only ate the leaves of the trees that shed to the ground. The trees that bore fruits, they will eat only of the ripe fruits. They will drink of the waters from the ponds and the rivers. There is not a menace to anyone. But when these messengers reached there, and these Mahatmas who was performing their job and doing their chores and so forth, when they saw these messengers on horsebacks with swords and weapons and so forth, they became scared. If you and your family, you are taking a drive with your family, and it's up a little late at night, and while you are driving, you see on the road police officers, army men with long guns and so forth. Even though you have all your requirements, you have your license intact, you have insurance, and you're drinking, you know what, and you're in good shape, when you see those officers, you feel intimidated. Won't you feel frightened? And you start to speak in the car with your children. Sit quiet, sit quiet. Let me alone talk. It happens all the time. So when these saints and sages, when they saw these messengers and they recognized them to be messengers of the king, the eldest of them all said, listen, these messengers have come. What they came for, we are not sure. Therefore, I being the eldest, I will be the one to speak. Well, at least, my dear friends, amongst those saints and sages, they have understanding. They understood each other. You know, I happened to be in a vehicle where individuals, more than one individuals in the vehicle, and police stop. And even though I say, look, let the driver alone talk, everybody else want to choke them out. You know what that does? Does that happen? Huh? It aggravates the officer on site. It aggravates the individuals. Wouldn't it not? And then they started to ransack the vehicle and all this. So these messengers They had some class. They unmounted from their horses, and the chief of all the saints and sages, he confronted them. How did he confront them? We are told. Listen. Jaya Ram Shri Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. तुम सन चाहत दसीसा बोलो राम राम
बोलो राम 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 बोलो राम 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 बोलो राम राम राम
सुनी सो वचन करही विचार विरत यबिसार
राम 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 बोलो राम 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 बोलो राम 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 बोलो राम राम राम
तुम ही मेरे मंदिर
तुम ही मेरे पूजा तुम ही देवता हो तुम ही देवता
दूत बोले हे मुनियो अब यहाँ कुशल है तुम सुनो रावण तुमसे भी कर लेने के इच्छा करता है यह वचन सुनकर महाभय पाए वैराग्य विषाद ऋषि विचार करने लगी. My dear friends, it's a pity I am not able to do what I want musically with these chopais. But even though, my dear friends, I am not able to do what I want singing wise, I want you to pay close attention. Goswami Tulsidas is said that the messenger spoke with loud and bold tones. O Mahatma, O Sant Samaj, we are the messengers of the King Ravana, and we were sent here for you to pay your dues, to pay your taxes that you owe to the king of Lanka. You have been in hiding for a long time, and now the time has come for you to pay. Very firm, very stern. Hearing these words, the sages became frightened and saddened at the words of these messengers. And in their mind, they are thinking, we are not in the way of this king. We have no luxury with us in the forest. What do we have to give him? There is nothing we have. And they spoke this one sage. He spoke to the messenger. Oh, Dutu, Sunona, listen. There is only one thing that we have left. And that alone does not belong to us. And what is that? What do we have that we can say belongs to us only for a time? Or the sharir say. This body of ours, we cannot boast of it forever. So the sage, the Mahatma is saying, as of now, this is what we possess. We possess our bodies. But it's only for a time. And inasmuch as king of Lanka, Lankesh, could ask of us for taxes, which we have no material things, this Mahatma, this sage did something. He took the sword from the messenger. Now, I think the messenger may be a little frightened, because the Mahatma, the sage, took the sword from him. Don't ask me how he take it. Took the sword from the messenger, and he took the sword and placed it to his forehead. Mantra Shakti. And with this Mantra Shakti, he cut the veins of his hand. And not too far from him, there was a kamandal, a golden pitcher. You see, the saints and sages, if it's one thing they never forsake, if they're utensils for the praying to the Lord. The lota, the kamandal, they always have it with them. Now, a kamandal is of different types. A lota, there is no lid to it. But a kamandal has a lid. It can be shut. It can be corked. And this one sage took the sword with mantra shakti, touched it to his forehead, and he cut the veins of his hand, and he uttered these words: we have no material things. This body does not belong to us. But the little bit of blood that we have in our veins, if this is what he wants, he can have it. And one by one, all those sant, all those Mahatmas, all those sages did the same thing. And my dear friends, cutting their veins, they poured the blood into that kamandalu, and then they passed it on to the chief or the highest sage there. Could you imagine that? That messenger, how he is feeling? Huh? Could you imagine the state of his mind? But you know, in the real world, some of these fellas have no class. If I may use the word, they have no shame. And when the Kamandalu reached back to the main sage, he took the cover and with mantra shakti, he corked it. And corking it in this manner, my dear friends, he spoke. Ravana gatalaka paramahulasa tabadutana suni bachana prakasha suni muni sapa upaja urdahu bola garle utar jau. He said, take this container, and this is all that we possess. And I want you to take it to Lankesh, Ravana, and carefully explain to him that the minute this container is opened, it will be the cause of his demise. The minute this container is open, it will be the cause of his demise. And he gave this kamandal together with the sword back to the messenger. Well, my dear friends, we are not being told here, but I could imagine they jump on their horses and they dust it. The horses are galloping back to Lanka. For now, they are not so happy as how they came. Because even those four messengers knew in their heart that what has transpired here is not right. My dear friends, do you know what is right and do you know what is wrong? Do I have to tell you what is right and wrong? Every one of us. If we do something right, nobody have to tell us we are right. And if you do something wrong, Carl, nobody have to tell you that you're wrong. You would know there's a conscience within each and every one of us, and sometimes it beats us. If you do something good, friends, what will happen? You feel good about yourself. And if you do something bad or not so good, then your conscience beats you. But have some people who have no shame. Are you understanding this, Katha? Listen to this very well. Not too often do we get to read this Katha. For this Katha is a Chepak Katha. I don't want to explain that Chepak thing. In the Tulsi Krit Ramayana, there are many Chepak Kathas that people don't read. And even though, my dear friends, I'm reading it from my laptop, it comes from the book. So don't have disbelief in your heart. We are being told that these messengers, they made it back to Lanka. And the messenger who had this kamandal, who had these words and this blood in this container, he mounted off the horse. And Ravana, when Ravan saw that, man mein prasann huye, he felt happy. Seeing, my dear friends, sometimes seeing is believing, but sometimes when we see, we still can't believe. He's seeing the golden kamandalu. He have realized in his mind, or so he thought, that listen, my messengers, they were successful. And they have humiliated those saints and sages who ran away from me. But today, I am going to get the best of them. But when the messenger spoke, Baradukpaya, Raman became very, very saddened. Now listen, you see, the word message and the word messengers means two different things. Message is something that you take back and forth. Not so. But have some people, Sherry, let me just use you as an example, right? Don't get vexed. Let's say I give Sherry a little message to give her sister. And by the time Sherry gave her sister the message, she add on 10 and 12 things. What is that? Inaccurate message. Sometimes we need to know how to take a message, how to carry a message. For we are all messengers in this world, aren't we? But sometimes, very sad to say, when a person hear X, Y, and Z, they so want to be messengers, a whole book, a whole katha. And my dear friends, that is how confusion starts. When Hanumanji was given the message to take to Shri Sita, he took the message and he brought back. Hanumanji is the true messenger in the world. Hence, you must emulate his habits and his traits. Now, the messengers were told, the minute this gara or this kamandal is open, it will be the cause of his demise. It will be the cause of his death. This is the message that the messenger took back. Hey, Maharaj Lankesh. The saints and sages, they have no material possession. So this is what they did. And they said to me, the minute you open this, it will be the cause of your death. So they took a total different message to Ravana. The message was, the minute this is opened, I could open it, Didi Sherry could open it, my mother could open it. But they didn't say that. They said, the minute you, O Lanka, O Lankesh, you, O Ravan, the minute you open it, it will be the cause of your death. And Ravan became afraid. Anger, his eyes, his bloodshot red. Could you imagine? And right away, he realized that these were not mere words. This is a curse by the Brahmins, by the saints and Mahatmas and sages. And Ravana knew that very well. For I'll tell you, Ravana himself was a Brahman. Ravana himself was from the religious class. But my dear friends, he went on the other side. And so it is. Jatana sameta darani gar aaye jana pav baat yah kehu shambhu sabha sruti bar suhara pratam raha janaka sanhara. Right away, when Ravana heard those words, he notices something bad. And his brains started to go back. Where his brains went, where his mind juggled him to, long time ago, there was a king by the name of Janak. And this king Janak and Ravan, they were in Shiv Sabha, in the place of Lord Shiva. And Janak and Ravana was having debate about Vedanta philosophy. And even though Ravan, king of Lanka, was very powerful and knowledgeable, he could not have defeated Janak. Janak was far superior in Vedanta philosophy. And right away, Ravan started to think about the past. Wait now. So long ago, that King Janak humiliated me in front of Lord Shiva. Well, today I go do for him. You saw people as remember people? Huh? Something happened many, many years ago. They were debating Vedanta philosophy. And Lord Shiva proclaimed victory to Janak because he was far superior. And Ravan felt humiliated. And because of feeling humiliated, he advised his messengers, the minute this container is opened, or he opened it, then the person who to open this, they go dead. Plain talk, bad words. So who should open this? Who? The enemy of the past. Who was his enemy of the past? Janak. You all know who is Janak? Janak was the great king of Maitalapuri. And listen to what Ravan says. My dear friends, beautiful chopais, beautiful words. But we'll speak it in English today. Not able to sing it. Sandy? You know what Ravan is saying to his messengers? Listen, messengers. I want you all to take this container. I want you to take this container and head in the northern hemisphere. Disha mein jawo. Go to the northern hemisphere. And there you will find the vicinity of Maitala Desh. Maitala Desh is the vicinity of that king they call Janak. And I want you, our messengers, to take this kamandalu. And I want you in the stillest hour of the night. I want you to take this kamandalu when nobody, listen to me, when nobody can see you. Don't let anybody see you. And I want you to bury it in his premises. Does this song familiar? They have a chutney. Make like that, you know. You better don't get me vexed if I take something and throw it in your yard. Who sing that? Don't say. People like to do that, you know. You and your neighbor vex, you pass and throw 2 supari in the yard, and they get up in the morning and see supari all about in the yard. Wonder to people throwing supari in my yard. Man, take it and throw it in the drainer, man. It ain't supposed to be there. People like to believe in stupidness, but my dear friend, don't go away with the idea to take this as a joke. Don't feel people don't do that. People just do all kind of things. People will do any and everything just to throw you off. But me, I want to go there too much. Ravana is saying, listen, take this container when nobody could see in the night and take it and bury it in Maitila. Don't let nobody see you. I don't want you to come back to me. Everybody like to do their dirty work, but I don't want nobody to see. But there's one person who always see. When you point one finger, my dear friend, 3 point back at you. Don't feel nobody wouldn't see. Somebody will see. When the boomerang come back at you, my dear friends, you'll regret that you have done that. And so it is, they took this container in the stillness of the night, where nobody could see, and they buried it in Maitaladesh. And they returned back. Now here, the word I wanted to use, Yanta Purvak. Now my dear friends, there is mantra, there is yantra, and there is jantra, and there is tantra. If you don't understand the difference, you're in problems. This, my dear friends, is a yantra. We have to be very careful. If you don't know about these kind of contraptions, don't play with it. Yantra, jant, tantra. We must be very careful with these things. If you're not guided properly, you will find yourselves in difficulties. So in other words, my dear friends, don't choke around something you don't know. Stick with what you know, and you'll be on the right path. The minute you cross threads and you go into something, my dear friend, that you don't know, and you find yourself in difficulty, you can't get help. So Ravana thought that if he put this in the premises of Janak, and Janak happened to open it, Janak will dead. See how it is? But that was not the message. The message was, the minute that this container is open, it will be the cause of his death. How is that container going to open? What will cause that container to open? We are being told in this cheaper Katha again, that Ravana is sleeping comfortably. But the minute they buried that yant, that kamandal with that blood into the earth, famine, drought. The earth became parched. The trees dried up. There was no greenery. The waters dried up in the riverways. The animals were dropping, not making young one, they were dying. Famine in a terrible state. The heat of that earth, because of the strap that was placed in that container, were doing damage. And when Janak saw this after a while, Paradukpaya, he became very, very saddened. And when we live our lives and things are not going good, when we live our lives and everything seems to be a stumbling block, then we need to get help. So what do you think Janak did? Janak decided to go to the home of his guru. And the guru in this part here His name was Satanand Brahman, not Satyanand. His name was Satanand, a very powerful Brahman, noble indeed. And when Janak went to the home of his guru, you see, the guru supposed to create a path. The guru is supposed to create a way. The guru is supposed to take you out of that negativity. Many people want to go for help all over the place. And the last resort, they want to go by the guru. I want to tell you, my dear friends, sometimes if you don't want to go by a guru, no problem, you know. Maybe you and the guru have some problems, which shouldn't be. But there's one thing, my dear friends, God will never have against you. You see that mantra that the guru give you? My dear friend, that is the key to open and shanti kare if you're doing it right. If you are doing it right. How many of us, how many people in the world who have their gurus and the guru have died? I mean, you dead too? Huh? Some people feel so that when the guru died, they must run around and get a guru who is popular somewhere. It don't work like that. It's one thing don't die, is the mantra never dies. I hear some children saying, me, I have no mother, you know, my mother dead. I'll say she's dead, but I mean to say you have no mother. She's not here with you. Your guru may not be here, but the mantra remains. That is if you're doing things right. And so it is, my dear friend. Satanand Brahman explained to him that, O Janak, this famine and drought is not by chance. Therefore, I want you to fast. And you're going to perform Bhumi Puja. Bhumi Puja means puja for the earth. And we have puja for everything, you know. We have puja for everything. We have puja if you want, you go to the cemetery and you sit down naked and you pray and thing. We have puja for that. We have puja for everything. Putra Kameshti Yagya. You want to have a son? Have puja for that. If you perform the puja and you don't get the son, don't blame the puja. You go blame the puja? Because your mind wasn't in the right place. But they have puja for everything. Bhumi Puja. You think any Hindu build in their house without doing Bhumi Puja? They believe in that. They must do Bhumi Puja. They must do the first whole puja. Else they ain't building a house. You imagine how much puja done all over the place? Which hole to build first? Which post to put up first? All these things we must know. Huh? Sanatana Dharma is not based on artifacts, hearsay and daresay. There are rules and regulations that we must follow. So the guru is giving him advice how to perform this puja. And the guru have given him instructions. Oh, Janak, mere beta, you are to build a plow. And this plow must have a golden peak. Now, I don't want to describe too much how a plow is, but a plow has a peak. It has some harness and so forth, and it anchor onto the cattle or the animals, and then the farmer will hold on to the reins of the cattle, and then the plow will go. The animal will pull the plow. But this plow that cultivates the soil, the tip of it must be out of sona. Sona is gold. And the guru, Satanand Brahman, is sprinkling the water, and the plow, my dear friends, is cultivated and tilling the land. You all guess where this katha is going? What is to happen will. What is to happen will happen. Nothing happened by guess. Ravana didn't thought about his enemy in the past to bury this container just so. It is all a divine plan. And so it is, my dear friends, by the will of God. the tip of that plow struck the container. And when it struck the container, my dear friends, a miracle took place. What was the miracle? By this time, Ravana is seated on his throne. Ravana is comfortable on his throne. And remember the words of the Brahmins, that the minute this gara, the minute this kamandal is opened, it will be, he ain't go dead right away. It will be the cause of his demise. Well, Ravana was seated on his throne. Listen to this doha, two doha. Put your hands together. Bhumi vidharan hot hi, jag mangal datar Rama, pragat ho singhasan shubhag, arbut tej apar siya. चारि सकी चारों तरफ लीन हमूर चलहा पूरा मद विराजत भूमि जा पावन जे गुणगान सिया पति रामचंद्र Jai Sharanam. These are two beautiful doha. And my dear friends, Bhumi Bidaran Hotahi Jagamangal Datar Pragato Singhasana Shubha Adabuta Tej Apar. When the plow, the tip of the plow struck that container, the earth cracked open. Loud noise, ha-ha-kar. Everyone became scared. And out of the earth, out of that crack of the earth, Utte rose a beautiful singhasan. Pragato singhasana shubhaga adabhuta teja. Words could not describe. 1,000 rays of the sun. Could you imagine? The sun is shining 1,000 times. It's brighter than that. Maharaj Janak, when he was performing this Bhumi Puja, his Dharam Patni, the queen, was right next to him. Her head was covered. And their voice became choked with emotions. And this is what they saw. A beautiful singhasan, well decorated. On each one of the corners of the singhasan, or pragat uwe, was a young maiden kanya. Maiden kanya means a kanya is a young child. And in their hands, they had a mor mukut, a beautiful fan, and they were fanning. And in the middle of that singhasan, there was a beautiful basket. And in that basket, my dear friends, in that basket was a beautiful baby girl. Ati sundar hai, dekhiye da vinay tabatani, baye turat kanya sukadani, sukina sahit singhasana soyi, utar bhayo chakit sab koi. Tulsidas is a magnificent, prolific writer, you know. If you understand these words, by saying the words alone, one becomes magna, one becomes ecstatic, by just understanding the meaning. On that singhasan, in the middle, with these 4 maiden girls, beautiful, fanning the mor mukut feather, was a beautiful baby girl. stark naked. Ati Sundare. Word could not describe the beauty of this child. Rodana Sunata Sunaina Rani. The queen Sunaina, when she heard Rodana, when she heard the cry of this baby, she looked at her husband, Raja Janak. And she only looked at her husband without words, Tulsidas says. She didn't utter a word, and the husband gave her permission to pick up that child. She covered her head and she took the pallu and she wrapped that baby and she picked up that baby and she placed it to her bosom, my dear friend, Shantoga. Shantoga means she was peaceful. Seeing this, flowers from the heavenly region were seen showered. This is not an ordinary baby. This is not an ordinary child. For nothing happens by mere chance. Janak and Sunaina, the queen, they accepted that baby as their own. Satanan Brahman, who were right there, calls her Bhumija. What is Bhumija? That one who came from the earth. Mata Sunaina, she picked up that child. When she picked up the child from the basket, my dear friends, a loud noise was heard and the Singhasan disappeared. Ravana, who was seated comfortably on his throne, he fell off his throne. Lightning struck and he didn't realize what had happened. But there is someone, when there is a manifestation, when there is an appearance, there is one person who always finds themselves there. Who is that person? Narayana Sharanam. Narayana Sharanam. Narad Muni, he appeared. And when he appeared, Mata Sunaina and Maharaj Janak, they bowed before his feet. And they were happy to see Narad Muni. Narad Muni, my dear friends, he was the master Jyotishi. He could only look at you and tell you all that is good and all that is bad about you. Do you know that? When Narad Muni went to the home of Himachal and he saw Parvati, and Himachal telling Narad, "Oh Narad, look at my child. Look at her and tell me all the good and tell me all the bad." Narad is telling the good about Parvati. He says, "This child will bring you great name and fame. The three worlds will sing her praises." But she had some bad setbacks. The person who she had to get married to, he will have ghosts and goblins as his devotees. And Himachal get vexed. Me, I want my daughter married, no ghosts and goblins. I want my daughter married a handsome man. Narad Muni could only look at you and tell you, it has been in our lineage of our people. We always want to know what is in store for our children, especially who they go married, who they go with, who they go live with. That is all they desire, for they want to make sure things go right. Well, Janak, he is saying, "Oh Narad, look at my child and tell me all her good side and tell me all her bad side." And Narad Muni, my dear friends, he only looked at Sita. Well, Bhumija. He only looked at Bhumija and he is going to speak. Mind you, Narad is a funny fella, you know. In the Ramayana, Narad is a very funny fella. In these two cases, we see Narad only look at the person and he could tell all the good and bad. But once Narad was compounded with ego and pride. And Narad wanted to get married to a young girl. And he went by Lord Vishnu and said, Lord Vishnu, I want to get married to that girl. If you could only give me a face like yours. And Narad was told by Bhagwan Vishnu, I will do that which is best for you. And when Narad went to the home of Shilnidhi, all this is in the Ramayana. When he went to the home of Shilnidhi ke Raja, Shilnidhi is saying, tell me. And you know what Ravana say? What Narad say? On the two occasions, he only look at them, look at the children, and he could tell. But now Narad is saying, heart milo. You know what heart milo means? Heart milo, you know what that means? Give me your hands. Now Narad want to check this girl planet, but he want to hold up she hand. That is the double standards of Narad. When we want something that we don't really need in our lives. So I'm showing you the good side and bad side of people. One must be very careful. And so it is Narad is saying, this child will get married to a most handsome person. Ati Balwan say very, very strong. The three worlds will sing his praises. O Janak, this child, that which came from the earth, not only which she called Bhumija, but her name will be called Sita. And my dear friends, the goddess Lakshmi appeared out of the earth, manifest as a little baby to win the grace, to put an end to that demonic force of Ravana. How am I tying this into Durga? How am I tying this Katha into this period of Navratri? It is important because Janak, like every parent, they would send their child to school, educate them, give them the best of all secular knowledge. And Sita excelled in every single one of them. And one day, this little Kanya, this little Sita, she was performing worship in her prayer room with Janak. And Janak had a special gift. In fact, my dear friends, both Ravana and Janak, they prayed to Lord Shiva, same Bhagwan Shiva. And Lord Shiva gave Ravana this special bow. And Lord Shiva told Ravana, he says, oh Ravana, I'm giving you this gift, but make sure that when I give you this gift, think where you want to put it. Think carefully. Because the minute you put it down, you can't pick it up again. Listen carefully, eh? This is not fancy Nancy story, you know. Maybe them other fellas can't read this. Listen carefully. So Lord Shiva is telling Ravana, think carefully where you're going to put this bow that I'm going to give you. Because the minute you put it down, you can't move it again. Look how God has it. Ravana was traveling from Mount Kailash to go to his palace, and he passed through Maitala Desh, same Janakpur, right where he buried the Yant. And Bhagwan Vishnu created something in Ravana that he had was to pass urine. Well, I don't know how Ravana could do that. He holding this great bhang, dhanush of Lord Shiva. How could he pass urine? And therefore, he rested down the bow on the ground, went to pass his urine, and when he came back, he could not pick up that bow again. Where was the bow? It was in Maitiladish. It was in Janakpur. And Janak, when Ravan could not pick up that bow, he was humiliated again. And he said, that had Jambi in it, man. It ain't make no use. And he said, when somebody wants something and they really can't get it, they will criticize it and condemn it. So he condemned the bow, and in condemning the bow, he left it and he went back to Lanka. That bow was in Maitilapuri, Janakpur. And Raja Janak saw that bow in his domain, and thousands of men, he instructed them to move that bow, and he took that bow and he placed it in his prayer room. On this day, Sita, Bhumija, she is performing pujan, and she is cleaning the puja place like any little child would do. And my dear friends, while cleaning and so forth, she accidentally picked up that bow with one hand and she rested down. And at the same time, she picked up that bow with one hand and she rested down. Janak saw that, her father, and he made a vow. He said, listen, my child, the three world will sing her praises. But not only do I want name and fame with her, the person who have to get married to her, the person who will win the hand in marriage must not only pick up this bow, but it must be able to string this bow. And that was the vow that the father. Do you think that is a bad vow? Huh? You know, many people tried to pick up that bow and they couldn't pick it up. Powerful men. I know some people saying, what kind of father is Janak? Look what kind of word he said to his child. I know the child will never get married. Some parents will be like that. But no, my dear friend, what is to happen will happen. Goswami Tulsidas is telling us that Sita picked up that bow and she placed it down. And that was the sankalp. Well, lo and behold, there was a Swayambar, and I'm jumping the Katha. There was a Swayambar, and that Swayambar where Vishwamitra took Lakshmana and went to Janakpur, where that Swayambar was a contest. And that contest is whoever pick up this bow and string it will win the hand of Sita in marriage. Well, my dear friend, even the same Ravana came to pick up that bow. Do you think he could have picked it up? Huh? And then Vishwamitra said to Sri Ram, Ram, the time has come. Relieve Sita of all her distresses. Sri Sita sat on the balcony with the Jaimal, the wreath of victory. And my dear friend, Sri Ram went before that bow. And he bowed before Lord Shiva. He picked up the bow, my dear friends, he bent it. And when he was about to tie the string, the bow broke in half. And then it was pronounced that Sri Sita will get married to Sri Ram. Who is Sri Ram? Sri Ram is Bhagwan Vishnu. Who is Sita? Sita is the divine goddess Lakshmi. And therefore, both Sita and Sri Ram, they were united. And you all know what happened, my dear friends? After there is doom, you know what doom dam means? It means doom and dam. Doom dam say, great celebration, marriage, happiness, joy. Kaikeyi asked for the two boons. And what were the two boons? That Bharat must sit on the throne and Sri Ram must go to the forest for 14 years. And Sri Ram and Sri Sita was about to be separated. And Sri Ram is saying to Sita, the same Bhumija, the same Sita or Pragatuhwe who came out of the earth, she is saying to the Lord, O Prabhu, why do you want to leave me in Ayodhya? Sri Ram is saying, well, if I were to take you in the forest, dangerous terrain, it will have animals, it will be dangerous for you. Therefore, I want you to remain here and look after my mother. Shri Sita said, "Oh Prabhu, I didn't get married to your mother, I get married to you. And if your home is in the wilderness for 14 years, then there shall be my heaven." Well, Shri Ram and Sita, they went to the forest. Having gone to the forest, that very same Ravana, that Dushta Mahapapi Ravana, came in disguise and took her by force. And she is in Lanka. Now Shri Ram was to build that bridge. Shri Ram was to join forces with Sugriv and Hanuman. And my dear friends, the battle to win back Shri Sita was about to take place. But Shri Ram was to do something. What Shri Ram had to do, my dear friends? Shri Ram had to win the grace of the Divine Mother. Now Sita represents peace and stability. And it's only when Shri Ram is reunited with Sita is then there can be perfect peace. I started up by saying to you that the first set of 3 nights you worship Durga Devi. For what? To remove the enemies on the outside and the enemies on the inside. But more so, the enemies on the inside. Well, Shri Ram wanted to do battle with the demonic king Ravana, who had plagued all these leelas. And Shri Ram couldn't drop Ravana to the ground. And for these 9 days, Siddhidatri, Chandraganta, and all these divine embodiments, Shri Ram, he worshipped them. He worshipped the divine. And my dear friends, it's only on the 10th day. Which is the 10th day? Which is the 10th day of the Navratri? What is it called? It is called Dashera. The 10 days. It is going to come, my dear friends, where Shri Ram will take that arrow, place it to his forehead, with mantra Shakti, reinforce with Shakti Devi, Divine Mother. Put your hands together. Raja Rajeshwari Stotram, Raja Rajeshwari Stotram, Hari Om Raja Rajeshwari Stotram, Shri Shakti Vasini Shri Devi Namostute, Shiva Kama Sundari Shri Devi Namastute, Shri Krishna Sodhari Shri Devi Namaste, Raja Rajeshwari Shri Devi Namastute, Padmadala Lochani Shri Devi Namastute, Bhakta Prapalani Shri Devi Namaste, Pavarta Vadhani Shri Devi Namaste, Raja Rajeshwari Shri Devi Namaste, Karuna Vasani Shri Devi Namaste, Katyani Yani Gauri Shri Devi Namaste, Kadambhavani Vasani Shri Devi Namaste, Raja Rajeshwari Devi Shri Devi Namaste, Shakti Parameshwari Shri Devi Namaste, Shambhu Mana Mohani Shri Devi Namaste, Shankari Parameshwari Shri Devi Namaste, Raja Rajeshwari Shri Devi Namaste, Annapurneshwari Shri Devi Namaste, Akalina Nandanyagi Shri Devi Namaste, Abhay Pradayani Shri Devi Namaste, Raja Rajeshwari Shri Devi Namaste, Satya Swarupani Shri Devi Namaste, Sadguru Rupani Shri Devi Namaste. Dharma Swarupini Shri Devi Namaste. Raja Rajeshwari Shri Devi Namaste. Akhanda Paripurni Shri Devi Namaste. Adi Parashakti Shri Devi Namaste. Akali Prapalani Shri Devi Namaste. Raja Rajeshwari Shri Devi Namaste. Anara Rakshaki Shri Devi Namaste. Saubhagyadayini Shri Devi Namaste. Satangapala Prade Namaste. Raja Rajeshwari Shri Devi Namaste. Pahi Bhuvaneshwari Shri Devi Namaste. Shri Vidya Rupini Shri Devi Namaste. Shakti Shri Sharade Shri Devi Namaste. Raja Rajeshwari Shri Devi Namaste. Raja Rajeshwari Shri Devi Namaste. Raja Rajeshwari Shri Devi Namaste. Om. My dear friends, on the 10th day, it's called Dashera. That Lord released his arrow. Mind you, releasing arrows after arrows, Ravana would counteract everyone. And then Bibhishan, the brother of Ravana, he said to Sri Ram, "Oh Prabhu, if you want to defeat my brother, if you want to defeat the tyrannic king of Lanka, his strength comes from his..." Where's the strength of Ravana? Do you all know where your strength is? Some people are saying, me, my strength is in my hand. Well, me have no strength in my hand. I like to believe, my dear friend, my strength is my mouth. I feel, my dear friends, anybody come in my path, I'll devour them with my words. I feel so. I'm not going to make anybody devour me with their mouth. I think my strength and my powers is in my words. Where is your strength? Could you determine where is your strength? Well, my dear friends, you have to know where your strength is. Do you think Bibhishan telling Sri Ram, if you want to defeat my brother, his strength is in his navel? Do you think Bibhishan had to tell Sri Ram that? Sri Ram knew that. But the world will say today that if Bibhishan didn't tell Sri Ram that the strength of Ravana is in his navel, Ravana will never fall. Do you think that is true? Sri Ram is God. We can run, but we cannot hide. Nothing is hidden from God. Bibhishan felt as though he did an injustice to his brother by exposing his brother's strength to the Lord. And then Sri Ram says, "Oh Bibhishan, you don't have to tell me that the strength of your brother is in his navel. I have been toiling with him all the time. Why have I been toiling with him? I am giving him that last opportunity. That last opportunity for what? Huh? So to God, give each and every one of us enough chances. Only if we can realize, only if we can come to our senses that the Lord is the master. Sometimes I see, my dear friends, it have in Trinidad what they call Ram Leela. One organization call it Ram Dilla. They should fix up them fellas. I don't know where they went to India and study. It is not Ram Dilla, it is Ram Leela. the Leela of Sri Ram. But everybody want to make a twist to it now. Huh? And I have no afraid for that organization. That is the Pakad Kindra. I don't know why they call it Ram Dilla for. To me, it's a mockery. The word is Ram Leela. It is the activities of Sri Ram. If we continue like this, my dear friends, you know what we just call pepper sauce in Trinidad today? What we just call it? Huh? They call it modern law. What else called paratha in Trinidad today? What else called pumpkin? Tractor grease, somebody tell me. You have to start saying Ram Dilla from now. You can imagine next 20 years what you go call it? What is the word? Ram. Maybe Ram Dilla means something else to them. But my dear friends, when you start construing these words from now, then my dear friends, you're making a mockery of what we do. And don't be a mockery to your own. If you are sharing curry and you want to tell them it have boulders in it, say it have pulori in it. Now don't say boulders. Huh? You can imagine Pandit sit down to eat. Baba, you want to have boulders? No, beta, I don't eat that. I don't eat boulders. I sit down to eat food. But Baba, you want some mother-in-law? No, I don't eat mother-in-law. My mother-in-law in Bastol. Give somebody else that. Huh? If somebody answers like that, how would you feel? Huh? Who make a mockery of our things? We make a mockery of it. So if we start, my dear friend, with these things, you can imagine next 30 years, we might go, but what it would be then. And I started to tell you that when Sri Ram destroyed Ravana in the 10th day of the Navratri, Dashera, he shot him with an arrow that struck him in his nabi and he fell to the ground. Today, they're making a big effigy, or effigy, what they call the word. Huh? I don't even want to pronounce that word. That I can't say it, you know. One ugly looking thing. Ravana was a handsome man. Ravana was not an ugly person. And everybody, oh, look there. They burning Ravana, boy. My dear friend, same thing with Pagwa. Same thing with Pagwa. They just make up a big lady. And they called you. Who tell you Holika was big and fat and ugly like that? Holika was a beautiful person. Holika was a very pious person. But she had no choice in the matter. Holika was not a bad person. Do you think if Holika was a bad person, everybody praying holy all about? When she was given the task by Hiranyakashipu, take this boy Prahalad and burn him in the fire. You know what she did? She took this one, because she knew her brother would have killed her. She took the shawl and she covered that baby and she said, oh Lord, burn me instead. Burn me instead. Save this boy. Was Holika a bad woman? But everybody want to practice Holika. They want to burn Holika all about. And they cuss in the fire. They should fall long and dead. I tell you they should fall long and dead. They don't have a clue about what Holika is. And when I talk about it, everybody vex. All of them who pelting things in the fire, they should fall long and dead. Call DAS to pick them up. When you do things like this, my dear friends, you make a mockery. People ask me, Pandit, why you don't celebrate Holika? For people to come and cuss the fire and things. But I don't believe in that. I believe Holika was a pious woman. She was a noble soul. But you see, my dear friends, the educated ones are not speaking like that. They are joining with the rest. But they want to create commotion. Where there is commotion, where there is fun and frolic, everybody wants to rush. Everybody wants to rush. But where is the truth behind the whole thing? So my dear friends, I want to tell you, don't play with these things. On the 10th day, the demonic king Ravana fell to the ground. And my dear friends, Shri Sita was reunited with Shri Ram. If you want the Ram and Sita to be reunited, my dear friends, you must observe this fast of Navratri with the understanding of what I explained to you. And then every year, you will reenact that reenactment of the merging of Ram and Sita, where Ram and Sita live with unity, live with peace. Shanti hoga. For that is what each and every one of us struggling for. What are we struggling for? We are struggling for peace in this world. Peace in our lives. Well, I want to say to you, my dear friends, this Katha, I have read it a few times before. I didn't go into so much detail. But sorry, I didn't get to do what I really wanted with it. So maybe next time we'll do it better. But nevertheless, my dear friends, that the points in this Katha wouldn't come by so easy. So take it, understand how Shri Sita came. And mind you, in the Tulsi Krit Ramayana, we are seeing the Katha of Sita come in first and then Shri Ram come after. It doesn't mean that Sita came before Ram. In the Ramayana, Tulsi does have it so because of the Kathas was dealing with the negativities of Ravana. So my dear friends, this is my message. Pandit, how one is completed? Thanks. So we're not going to do final arati. I just ask you to put your hands together and we conclude. But I'll ask you to stand for this closing prayer. Mantrahinam, Kirahinam, Yat Pujatam Maya Deva, Paripurnam Tadastvami, Tvameva Mata,
च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धु च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या प्रवीणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव
Hari Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. प्रभु श्री राजा रामचंद्र की, आज शक्ति दुर्गा देवी माता की, लक्ष्मी माता की, सरस्वती माता की, सत्य सनातन धर्म की. आसन दीजिए, प्लीज टेक योर सीट्स.
Sitaram, everyone. On behalf of Swasti Vaachanam family, we sincerely thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight for this special one-night Navratri Satsangh. Your presence and devotion made this evening truly blessed. We also take this opportunity to warmly invite each and every one of you to our upcoming Diwali celebration right here at this residence on the 10th of October 2025. This evening will feature Rishi Gayadeen, backed by his group, RG and the band, along with his cast of talented singers. Stay tuned to our social media platforms for more information. We are hoping to see you all there. As we conclude tonight's prayers, we invite all who wish to stay back and join us in Dandiya Ras. This is a joyful traditional dance of Navratri performed with decorated sticks, symbolizing the victory of good over evil and celebrating the Divine Mother. Don't worry, if it's your first time, we'll guide you all along. Navratri is about devotion, dance, and togetherness. So let's celebrate in that spirit together. Finally, a reminder that meals have been prepared, so please don't leave without partaking in dinner with us. Sitaram, and thank you all again.
Again, I want to emphasize that our Diwali concert, and I thought I'll take a minute just to clarify little things here. For 2 years, my dear friends, we took our Diwali celebration to the St. George's College ground. And last year we decided not to, and we decided to give up the Savannah. And my dear friends, giving up the Savannah for many reasons. Number one, the support was not coming with the output that we had to put out in the Savannah. And there was too much limitations and too much work to do there. So we thought it best to put our energy and put our little funds that we have right here at our residence. I assure you that will be a grand occasion. And if we can fit 400 people here, my dear friends, that is a comfort for us. So we are not calling it a big Diwali celebration, light up and so forth. If I gotta get the streets blocked, I block it, but we can't. But we'll have a concert where we'll have good song and music. Refreshments will be made available just so that we could continue. I always wanted to do a Diwali celebration, but somehow or the other, in Barataria Savannah, it didn't work out the way we wanted it. But my dear friends, you have to turn the page and continue with your Katha in life. So we are continuing with our Katha. Who wants to have the celebration in Savannah? We wish them luck, and they can go ahead. And if we can support, we will join. And that is simple as that. So my dear friend, we did just show away the celebration. Understand why. We are a small organization, and our funds are just limited. And we really wasn't getting the kind of help that we wanted for an outdoor celebration. I wish we could have it, but it was too much output for us. So it didn't work out for us. So we prefer to do it at our home, and we'll be satisfied with that. So you can come and join with us and enjoy beautiful sound and beautiful music. And that Diwali celebration, hopefully, or may not hopefully, I don't know, it might be the last service for the year, and we're not sure if we can muster up another one. And this has nothing to do with funds. It all depends on my mother's health and so forth. I must say to my sister Anjani, who is here with us, she has been here for about 2 weeks, and she's here to join with the family and yet still be with my mother. I know she's going back on Monday, and I want to say to you, thanks a lot, and we will be on WhatsApp. We'll still be around. So thank you all for coming. Mind you, I wasn't expecting so much people here tonight. It is difficult for us to plan a service at our residence. And we strictly go on Facebook and WhatsApp now because sometimes we sacrifice and we drop cards in people's mailbox, and apparently some people don't like to take invitation in mailbox. So we stick in with Facebook because it's a task for me to drop cards by people's mailbox, and you see the people we drop in cards for, they don't come. So I'm not going to waste my time. Sorry about that. I have plenty of other things to do with my life. So we stick into our WhatsApp, and I have asked the members of the family to take names and so forth, and we will invite you. Please accept the invitation from our heart, and it's nice to see so many of you. God blessings, and may you enjoy the rest of the Navratri festival. And Diwali is coming, and we just finished the Pitra Paksh season, and enjoy yourself for your Diwali. Live within your means, do things within your means, and blessings of the Almighty. Meals have been prepared for all. We're not having meals in front of the premises, right in the back, so they'll put some tables and so forth, and be comfortable, be at home. Thank you all.
All right, dear devotees, let us all bow our heads in prayer. As we chant Bhojan mantra, it's always a good practice. Before you eat any of your meals, you should always ask God to bless that meal before you partake of it. And at the end of your meal, you say, thank you, Lord. Om manapate anasya deyanami vasya shishmana prapradataram tarishe urjano dehi dvipade chatushpade. O Almighty One, Lord of food, we partake of this meal by thy grace. May we use only those foods that are health-giving, free from disease, pure and nourishing. May this food help us to overcome our difficulties, and may all bipeds and quadrupeds derive benefit therefrom. Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. Thank you.